Hey, what's going on, people? This is my out-of-theater reaction for Transformers Rise of the Beast. Just went to a little bit of an early screening for it tonight. And I'm not the biggest Transformers guy. I didn't watch the older cartoons growing up. It was a little past my time anyway. But I've been a fan a little bit of the live-action movies. Honestly, the best ones for me, like most people, were the first one that Michael Bay did way back in 2007, I believe it was. The second one was all right for me, but it definitely went downhill from there, like most people kind of thought. I did think, though, Bumblebee came out in 2018. I thought that was a nice step up, and I really did enjoy the vibe of that movie. A lot shorter than some of the other Transformers movies, so that was really nice as well. This movie definitely follows that same pattern. You have a nice lead, just like in Bumblebee, with Haley Steinfeld in that. You have Anthony Ramos in this movie. Thought he was really good, brought a lot of charisma to this, and they really did go a little bit into his life at the beginning of this movie that really helped me build a nice emotional attachment to his character, so I did care about him and everything going on. There are certain things in this movie that, yes, you've seen in other Transformers movies. You got the bad Transformers going against the good Transformers. There's a MacGuffin, a huge MacGuffin in this movie involved where they're both trying to go after this, and if the evil ones, I'm obviously simplifying it here, if the evil ones get a hold of it, they will cause destruction to not only Earth but other planets. We have that similar type of plot involved here, but I thought they did it really well. The action was really fun, really nice to look at. I thought being set in the 90s really was a nice setting for this movie. The music was used pretty well throughout. The soundtrack was really nice. Interwoven with the score as well, which is a pretty typical score, original score here, as in most Transformers movies, but I thought for the most part this movie did impress me more than I imagined. Definitely met my expectations and maybe even went a little bit further. Like I said, Anthony Ramos was a great lead here. Dominique Fishback, she did a really good job here as a kind of a second lead to our lead here, and they had a nice little chemistry that they developed here, and I like that they didn't go the romantic route here with like Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback. I thought that would have been a little too much. And yes, as the movie gets into the third act, there are just certain things where you're going to have to either suspend your disbelief or you're just not going to be able to, especially with a decision they decide to go with Anthony Ramos' character, Noah. Where at first I was like, do they really need to go that far? But in the end, I thought it was really badass. Not going to spoil it or anything. And also, there is a mid-credit scene here, like right after the credits start, really. There's a scene that happens here where they do something that I did not expect at all and got a pretty big pop from my theater, personally. Not really too exciting necessarily for me individually, but there was a lot of people that were cheering afterwards. And really, honestly, I just had a good time with this movie. The action was done very well. And one thing I got to mention, Pete Davidson in this movie, he was definitely there for the comic relief, and always with that, you're like, okay, how much of these jokes are going to work? And honestly, like 90 to 95% of his humor in this movie worked a lot for me. Like, he was on. The timing of his jokes with the writing of it, it was all very funny. A lot of pop culture references with the 90s movies and music, which I thought was all used actually rather well. Didn't feel like too much. Didn't feel like they were pushing the nostalgia on you too much here. It actually was a very well interlaid in the movie here. So I had a really good time with this. As I get into my review, I'll post here in a few days on my YouTube channel. I will definitely place some of my negatives, some of the things that are probably more spoilery and stuff like that. But overall, a pretty positive review here for me. I really did enjoy this movie. Definitely following more of that path that Bumblebee laid for it, and it was connected in a way. At brief little moments, they kind of show you that it's connected to that with a Bumblebee in this movie. But I'm really actually interested to see where they go from here, if they try to stay with this Anthony Ramos character and where he goes after this. If you're interested in this at all, go check it out probably this weekend or as soon as you can. If you're not interested in the Transformers movies, I don't know if this one's going to necessarily pull you over to being a fan. I think it's definitely one of the better ones, though, especially, like I said, compared to what they were doing with like The Last Night and Age of Extinction and stuff like that. Really overall positive review for me here. So yeah, that is my out-of-theater reaction for Transformers Rise of the Beast.